me just start with this. Are they a dynasty? It doesn't really matter, right? Like, they're going to be remembered as game changers. Here's why they're a dynasty. Not just because of the 4 titles in 8 years, but because they are the essence of what you want your basketball team to be. You want your college basketball team to play like that. That fluidity, that ability to shoot, play defense, that kind of chemistry and leadership. They are what you want your AAU team to be, your international team to be. They are the envy of the league. They're smarter than you. They're more selfless than you, more human than you, play better defense than you, develop their players better than you. They are a dynasty because they are the essence of the sport. They are the standard, not just the winning standard. That's not it. They have the best owner and the best GM and the best coach and the best, most selfless star, not about him. The Miami Heatles were bought, the Spurs were boring, and the Lakers were great briefly. I find them the easiest dynasty in basketball in my life to root for. I was rooting for Steph last night. For some reason, still has to validate his greatness. I was rooting for Clay last night, who's had to overcome, as one of the nicest professional athletes in the country, 2 devastating injuries. I was rooting for Wiggins last night, a really nice kid who was labeled a bust, though he never was. And yes, I was rooting for Draymond, because nobody's ever quite understood outside of Steve Kerr how valuable he is. Yes, Steve Kerr's putting him on the floor for 40 minutes. You don't think he's any good. I'm going to go with Kerr's judgment. Kevin Durant bailed on them. They suffered multiple injuries and were the worst team in the NBA 2 years ago. And now they're back. That is really easy for me to root for. New England, Alabama football, the Yankees in the early 90s. It got repetitive. Congrats, New York, you bought yours. Yes, this is the highest payroll, but that's because they continue to pay people they found in the second round. Steph Curry, the second guard taken in a draft. Klay Thompson out of Washington State. Yes, they pay the guys they drafted and developed because they want to create a core, a community, and loyalty. There's so many storylines, overcoming injuries, KD bailing. We've seen him fail. We've seen him awful. Maybe it's because it's 3 different eras. There was the Splash Brothers. From Washington State and Davidson, Draymond Green to second rounder. I don't even remember him playing at Michigan State. And then they were the super team that everybody hated. That guy left, more about him later, and then they've rebuilt it from the studs. I find them incredibly easy to root for. And as LeBron tries to speak playing for the Warriors into existence 2 times in the last 6 months, Steph Curry always says, we're good here. Not about mobility. You're welcome to join, but you will not be the soul of the team. You will not handle the ball, and you can leave, and we'll win without you. That's what's great about them, is that not only are they the best team in basketball, but they're ready to go on another run. They do need some length. Oh, they've got 21-year-old James Wiseman about to play next year. They could use another wing defender. Here comes Jonathan Kuminga. You know, Steph's getting old. Jordan Poole, Moses Moody, ready to go. They do it the right way, and smart wins in sports. Their owners A++, their GMs A++, their coaches A++, their star is A++, their revenue is A++, their arena is A++, and the promising young stars on the bench have a chance to be A++, and knowing the Warriors, they will be. The longer this series went, the more lopsided it felt. That's not to say the Celtics were a pretender. They weren't. They were the best the Eastern Conference had. I still contend if Chris Middleton is healthy, Milwaukee is here and loses, from what I've seen. But I think what you saw from the coaching and the experience, the longer the series went, we thought so many things early in this series were holes for the Warriors, their size. They solved all of them. But the thing Boston was, they hid their biggest flaw early, half-court offense. And once again, the smartest team in the league exposed it. Those last 3 games for the Celtics against the Warriors, they could never break 100 points. Listen, I'm a capitalist. I like to see hardworking people succeed. But even I would acknowledge I'm over Alabama football, and I was tired of Brady Belichick, and the 90s Yankees were amazing. But there's something about, instead of buying a mansion, buying a house that needs work and fixing it up yourself. It feels more special. And the KD Warriors didn't feel like this. The pre-KD and the post-KD are different. By the way, it sounds so simplistic, right? It's about winning. It's amazing how rare that is. As sports has gotten so profoundly beneficial to professional athletes and college athletes now, there are a lot of things that pull at you. Fame and money, your Instagram page. The Warriors have always kept it about winning. The Patriots always kept it about winning. Congrats if you're stylish. If you get records and awards. It's not what matters here. What matters is the W. The 4th in 8 years. Let's shift gears to Steph Curry. He won the MVP. It's always been remarkable to me how sports fans, not all of you, I think a lot of you actually watch the games and have some nuance and you understand the complexities and the contextualization of sports. Many of you do. I don't want to lump everybody in. But how awards really validate. Phil Jackson has 11 titles. He won Coach of the Year once. Give me a break. LeBron has not won an MVP in 9 years. Stop giving out the award. It means nothing if LeBron hasn't won an MVP in 9 years. If Phil Jackson has one Coach of the Year award, it means nothing. Steph Curry's MVP doesn't validate anything to smart sports fans. Here's my validation. In the history of professional basketball in America, the Mount Rushmore to me is indisputable. It's Michael, Magic, LeBron, and the greatest center of all time, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But just down the road, maybe 5-6 miles, there's the Mount Rush a little less. It's that second mountain range, and it's Russell, Bird, Kobe, and Steph. And I don't think it's even remotely arguable. You really think Tim Duncan had the impact and the influence of Steph Curry? Steph Curry is what every basketball coach at every level is looking for. As good as Jason Tatum is, look at the gap after this series of Jason Tatum and Steph Curry. One's a two-way player. One can initiate offense. One can elevate others. One can shoot. One can always get his shot. One is always great. Scores in the paint, though he's smaller. Can shoot from further out, though he's not quite as strong. I don't think there's anything close. The only mystery to me is why did it take so long for everybody to figure this out? 5 years ago, you'd all taken Westbrook over Steph Curry. And I think one of the great strengths of Steph Curry is he's normal. He's never gone weird on us. That's what money and fame does to a lot of athletes. They get weird. Even though they grow up good parents, humble beginnings, it becomes about stuff that doesn't really matter in the big picture. To Steph Curry, what's always mattered to him is people. He could have bailed. He could have bailed last couple of years. Get me out of here. Everybody's hurt. I need more people around me. I talked about that wrongly on this show. He's normal. He's humble like most Americans. He cares about people beyond himself. He wants to be part of a community. It's not just about him, it's about us. Tip of the cap to the Warriors and most of all to Steph Curry, who remains a lunch pail guy in an industry, in a sport of stars and distractions everywhere. He still feels like he punches the clock, and I think that relates to a lot of people, including everybody inside this organization.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.